What's going on, Deshawn? This is Travis Hartman with Weighing In with Travis Hartman, part of this series that I do. It's called In This Corner. I've had tons of fighters on this. Terrence Crawford, somebody you know, Mike Perry. I've had Shane Mosley Jr., Giovanni Marquez, Giovanni Estella, guys here, Ryan Main, a bunch of guys that are on the podcast. So thanks for coming on. Thanks for making time. I know that you have a fight coming up January 25th in Missouri, and you reside in Kansas City, Missouri, correct?
Yes, that's right.
Well, again, thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate it. How's everything going? I know that you've had I would say your professional boxing career has probably not been a smooth sail, right?
Yeah, yeah. I want to say I had a lot of ups and downs, with my career, as far as what I'm saying, like not having a big amateur background, really having to just get it out the mud. You know what I mean? Just trying to pay my way and find my way through. But everything's finna start changing this year for sure. So
So your record, what does it sit at? Is it 18-1?
18-1, 17 wins in a row.
17 wins in a row, man. That's like
Mhm.
so not having a big amateur career. And honestly, I grew up in Kansas City, Missouri. That's where I was at for
Mhm.
28 years. I fought amateur there, I fought pro there, everywhere. But like I was telling you, I didn't really cross paths with you very much. I know of you from Facebook. I follow you. I know some of the people you used to train with. You used to train with Craig Cummings, and now you're not with Craig. Who are you training with now?
Rick Cooler, Rick
Rick
Cooler.
Cooler. Okay, got
Yeah.
you. So how's that transition been going as well? Because I know that
Uh,
your last fight. Hold on, but your last fight you were with Craig though, right?
yes. Last fight I was with Craig.
So your last fight you beat a 12-0 guy, but I was looking on the box track. That was a disqualification. What happened there?
Oh man, so like he was getting frustrated with my foot movement. You know what I mean? He used to guys just coming straight in there and he just bully him. But my style, I got the boxing him and he got to getting frustrated. You know what I mean? And he sucker punched me, like his finger poked me in my eye when the ref was in between us. So I couldn't see. So
And they
he got
disqualified him.
disqualified. Yeah.
I bet he wasn't happy.
Nah, he wasn't happy. They wanted a rematch, matter of fact. But, you know, wait in line.
I like it. So you got bigger fish to fry. So you're fighting this weekend, or not this weekend, January 25th, not this weekend, but the following weekend. And I know that you're not supposed to look ahead, right? But I know
Yeah.
that you just got offered and signed to fight in April in Las Vegas. So
Yeah.
how are you juggling that? Because like I said, you can never look ahead, right? You got a guy in front of you, I believe you said Noah Kidd, that
Yes.
you're gonna have to show up. You're still gonna have to get that win because if you lose or get hurt or something,
Uh-huh.
that April one will disappear.
Yeah. So my main focus is Noah right now, 100%. You can't underestimate nobody in this game because everybody has a punch or chance. But right now, I done been through so much, and right now I just feel like I'm on a different level right now. So I feel like I'm gonna do my thing next week and get the win for sure.
So when you say you've been through so much, can you talk about some of that? Can you elaborate? Like what are some
Like it's been like a lot of ups and downs. Like I was supposed to fight on the zone in September against Andrea Holmes, a real big fight. I ended up breaking my hand, uh, having to sit down for a couple months. Just a lot of anger just was built up, and you know,
how'd you
things.
break your hand in training or what?
Yeah, I broke it during sparring. I was sparring this guy named Jose. He's a good amateur trainer out of Turner Boxing Gym, Southpaw kid. And I threw a hard right hand and I hit his elbow and broke my finger. So
Oh, on his
yeah,
elbow.
yeah, on his elbow. Yep.
Dang.
So
So
the fight,
they had to postpone that fight. So how long ago was that? That was back in September.
yeah, back in September,
Where was that fight supposed to happen at?
Detroit, his
So now
hometown.
so now you've been pro. I believe you've been pro since 2018. I was looking on your box track.
Yeah,
2018. Now we're
that's
going into 2025 now. Um, if you when you turned pro, what was your initial like goals as a pro when you turned pro? Like, what were you thinking? Because I mean, I'm for sure thinking that it probably hasn't went exactly how you thought it would go.
yeah. It's crazy because like I didn't know I was going to even get this far. Honestly, like it was crazy. Because I was a kid that used to get bullied. You know what I mean? Like and I couldn't play football like I think it was like my sophomore year. My sophomore year I couldn't play football. So I'm like, what I'm gonna do? So one day I was on
Why
a
couldn't
on
you
the
play
back.
football? Why couldn't you play?
I couldn't play football because my grades wasn't good
Oh,
at the
okay.
time.
Okay.
So I'm trying to figure out what I'm trying to do. So it's a guy, his name is Christian. I seen him on a bus, and I seen him with some boxing shoes on. And I said, where you boxing? I said, you box? He said, yeah. I said, where you boxing? He told me Authentic Boxing Gym. This is like back in 2015.
Okay. Larry Edgar's by that at that time.
Yeah, Larry Egger. And he told me what gym he went to. And the next day we met up, and then it's been up ever since.
So did you first start boxing with Larry Edgar? Then, by the way, rest in peace, Larry Edgar. I knew Larry Edgar from the very beginning in the amateurs, and I know that he passed away
Yeah,
there last
rest in
year.
peace, Larry. Yeah, he was a good guy.
So
Good guy.
you started training with Larry. Did you start amateur with Larry or pro with
Yeah,
Larry?
I started amateur and pro with Larry.
Okay.
Yeah, I had my first amateur fight with Larry at like 2016. But before that, I did used to train at the Greg Center. But I was like 14, 15. But I really wasn't taking it serious. So it was just, I was just going down there, just playing around, really. But I really started taking it serious like 17, going up, stuff like that.
So you said you're on a 16 fight win streak?
17.
17 fight win streak. So what something had to a switch had to flick in your head after that. Like you had your first loss as a
Yeah,
pro, and then what switch? What happened?
I was just like, man, because I always like liked it Floyd. So like I always wanted to be like a Floyd type of dude. Like Floyd was like my guy. But like I said, I didn't have a big amateur background. So like I didn't think like when you lost, I thought like it was like, like it's gonna be like the amateurs. I didn't know at the time. But then once I seen that it stayed on your record permanently, shit, something just switched and I was like, man, I can't afford that no more. I'm trying to feed my family and I mean no wrong with taking a loss, you know what I mean? Cause you learn from it, it builds character and everything. It humbles you in a lot of ways and different things. But right now I'm just feeling like I just feel like if I do take a loss, you know what I mean, it is what it is. But it's the guy that the next if somebody beat me, man, he gonna have to go through hell to do it. And that's just what it is.
I mean, I'm glad you kind of brought that up because I think that is something that's actually prevalent right now is that Floyd Mayweather kind of set a precedent going undefeated, right? And now
Yeah.
everybody's like, oh my God, I got to be undefeated. But I think boxing is changing now. And I think in a good way is a loss
Yeah.
isn't a loss used to be like the end of the world, right? I'm like, I remember I'm being pro, I was 5, 6, and 0. I lost my first fight. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's over. Like, I mean, it's all ended. My
Yeah.
boxing career has ended. But I think now because of guys like Turkish Al Sheikh, the guy over in Saudi Arabia,
Hmm.
he's putting guys together who it doesn't matter if you're undefeated or not, it doesn't matter if you're lost or not. The best are fighting the best, and I think that's the way it should be. So I think you're right. One loss is not the end of the world, but also I'll give you an example. I'll throw you way back. Bernard Hopkins. Bernard Hopkins started out his professional boxing career 0-1. Did you know that?
Yeah.
0-1. So like that's why I tell him like, dude, one loss is not a killer, right? It's
Yeah.
it's a killer though if you don't learn from it. But like you want to know what 17 fight win streak, bro? Like
Hmm.
that's pretty good. I know that you had some bumps along the way too, because I remember chatting with you briefly years ago. You pulled out of a
Hmm.
fight last minute. They suspended you for like a year. I remember having some Facebook messages with you back and forth. That was what 2, 3, 4 years ago, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when you say you've had some trials and tribulations, you're not wrong. You have for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whether
For
they
sure.
whether they were, and this is where I think you have to take some accountability too, right?
Hmm.
Whether they were self-inflicted or not,
Hmm.
I think a lot of those you could have controlled too.
For
But
sure.
it doesn't matter. You're a man. You're still here. You're still grinding. You're 18-1. You have a fight in
Yeah.
a couple of weeks, then possibly a big fight on ESPN. But again, let's not talk about that because that's down the road. You got to get past this guy Noah Kid. But more towards your journey on this way, man. Because like I follow your Facebook page and there's some drama on there a lot. So
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
but like so when you turned pro, you fought your pro career. Once you start getting on these win streaks, did you just think, oh my god, you're like now I'm set, right?
I mean, I got to a point where I was like, man, am I gonna keep what do I want out of it? Then I got to this. I just like really start like loving it. You know what I mean? Like like I was really like loving boxing. You know what I mean? And it's got bigger than like it's more than just the money to me. You know what I mean? Like I really genuinely like I really love it. So I don't smoke. None of that. So like I really love this. So
So this is something that honestly you want to be a full-time job, a full-time
yeah,
career. You want to change your
yeah.
life
That's
with
this
this.
all I. Yeah, this all I really do. You know what I mean? All I really do is just really box. That's all I really do. I got like a little part time, at night, but I mainly just box. So I made a lot of sacrifices. I quit jobs and everything just to box.
So how does this boxing career coincide with like your family life too as well? Kids, wives. I know you don't have a wife, but you have a kid. How does that coincide with that? How do you juggle that time? How do you juggle that? I mean, if you're not married, obviously there's some co-parenting there too. That's got to be an issue as well.
Yeah, for sure. So I get my kids like on the weekends. So weekends like that's when I get them, and they know like I'm training for them, and I let them know like I'm grinding for the family, cause like I'm the guy that's putting the food on the table. So I gotta do what I gotta do. So
How
they
many
understand it.
how many kids do you have?
I have two,
Two kids, boy, girl,
boy, girl,
boy and a girl. Nice, man.
boy,
So
girl.
you got your king and you got your queen.
Yeah, for sure.
Future, obviously.
Yeah, for sure.
So does that add motivation to you right there, knowing that you have two small ones that you're providing for essentially, right? Like if you're the breadwinner, if you're the one that's really taking care of them, ultimately, does that ever factor into when you're training, when you're fighting, all of that? How does that motivate you, or does it motivate you?
I mean, it does motivate me a lot. Like, I started to like get down or something like, man, is this really for me? I just think about my family and my kids and stuff like that. So it definitely keep me going. If I'm running like a 4 mile run, I just think about my daughter and my son. I just just run an extra two or something like that. So like, yeah. So it definitely take like a big toll on my motivation for sure. For sure.
So I want you to think ahead a little bit. I want you to
Hmm.
think if you could put into place your perfect 2025. We're,
Hmm.
we're, we're looking at, let's fast forward. We're in December 2025. How
Hmm.
does how does that year look for you? What is a success for you for 2025? We're here. I'm doing this podcast with you again in December of 2025. And we're gonna take from what you tell me right now, and we're gonna fast forward to that. What does that look like?
Uh, it looks like me, just moving closer to that number 10 spot in my division, 154. But I'm taking this fight, the next two fights at 160. But hopefully getting signed by top rank. That's something real big for me. Getting signed by top rank, or if not, the zone or some like a big promotion company where I really can really get out there.
So
Really.
I remember a couple of times. Have you went out to Vegas? I thought I seen Craig take you out to Vegas with Top Rank and to
Yeah.
their gym. So you haven't been out there. Have you got to spar with some of their guys, or how
Yeah.
was that? How did that even play out? How did you feel being in there? Did you feel like you belonged when you were there? How did that go?
Yes, I did. The funny thing is, when I went out there, I sparred this guy. This I forgot his name. This Chinese guy, I forgot his name, but he was a southpaw, a good fighter. He told me he had like 260 amateur fights. I'm thinking in my head like they only got 10. But
Hmm.
once I got in the ring with him, and like my skill level just like superior his. You know what I mean? And I was like, dang man, maybe like I really am like one of them blessed guys that got blessed with the talent to do what I do. I got in there with Keith Hunter too. He a good fighter. Uh, I feel like I did my thing with him too. And all these everybody I really like has sparred in the past, like everybody been boxing longer than me. But I'm always the one that's either like, getting a better work of them or things like that. So yeah, man, I just feel like, God just made a way for me and it's my way.
So when you see right now the 154-pound division, the landscape of that division right now, the world champ currently in that division, because I believe him and Canelo have came to an agreement in September to fight. But the
Yeah.
154-pound division, if you want to win a world title, I mean, that's going to go through guys like that. Guys like who Jerome Boutsenis possibly is going to be there as well. The Charlo brothers. I mean, you have a lot. Madrimov, who Crawford just beat, in a very
Mm.
close fight. So, do you see yourself in the ring with guys like that?
Yes, I do. Honestly, I feel like me believing in myself and me like really like believing in myself, my ability, me being in top shape, I feel like 100% because like the way my style is, the way I box, and the way like is like I just guys tell me all the time. You know what I mean? Yeah, just me believing in me. That's all it is. Just me believing in me, and I feel like I can compete with all them guys.
I
You
mean, this
know.
is what I tell fighters all the time, and like I said, I started boxing when I was 6 years old. Had 170 amateur fights, 46
Mm.
professional fights. I was in the ring with Terrence Crawford as a pro. Lost the decision on points to Terrence Crawford on like 5 days'
Mm.
notice, even bro. So,
Man.
but I think that one of the biggest and most important things is you have to back yourself, and one of that is have self belief.
That's all it
Even
is.
if it sounds crazy, like, you know what, believe in yourself. You know who believes in themselves more than is Floyd Mayweather. They told that guy he was crazy, top rank even. Bob Arum was like, you're crazy, you're never gonna make money. Bob Arum actually said that. Was like, hey, you're never gonna make money, you're not gonna make what these guys are making. So no, I cannot pay you this. And Floyd Mayweather said, I'm gonna get $750,000. I'm gonna buy my way out of this contract because I believe in myself. I believe in my talents. And it was delusional because most people are like, you're crazy. Bob Arum's, he's a Hall of Famer, he's a legend. I'm not talking crap on Bob because Bob's done a lot of good stuff too. But this did happen. This is a true story that Floyd Mayweather went through that. So you do have to be a little delusional, right? But you
Yeah,
gotta have that team behind you though too. That's an
for sure,
important thing too. You
for
have to
sure,
trust your team because
for
you
sure.
look at it. Mayweather's been with Mayweather his whole career, whether it was Roger or his dad. Only reason he wasn't with his dad for a lot of the times because his dad went to prison, and then Roger kind of filled in, and Roger was the staple in Floyd's life. So that's why Floyd ended up staying with Roger more than his dad. They kind of beef, whatever. But you got to have that team behind you, and you're 18-1. You've had multiple different trainers now, though. What do you think that your new trainer is going to help you kind of catapult you to the next level with Rick? I know, and listen, I know Craig personally. I've known Craig a long time. I know Craig is very good, and Craig was a good fighter too. Craig was all of that. So, with that being said, you've been with him, so he's helped mold you too. He's helped whatever you are today. He helped with a little bit. You can't
Yeah,
not discredit
yeah,
that, right?
yeah,
But
yeah,
what is
yeah,
this?
100%.
And at the end of the day, you have to do what's best for you. And I get that. As a
Uh-huh.
fighter, fighters have to do what's best for them. But what has this
Hmm.
new trainer added to your career that is going to help you be a world champion?
So first, Craig is like a very good guy. He's a good trainer. You know what I mean? He taught me a whole lot. He got me real far in my career. I'll salute him. But sometimes things just don't click, and some people just gotta, But it's all love on my end. He did teach me a lot and things like that. But I feel like with Rick, uh, it just learning new things because you can never stop learning in this game and stuff that Craig was showing me, Rick showing me and stuff was showing me, Craig showing me. But I just accumulate them things I learned from Craig and learn from the new things I'm learning from Rick, and the stuff I had never seen before, and just working on that. It's a lot of stuff I didn't see before that I'm seeing now, like certain counter punches and stuff like that getting that breaking down. He breaking down them to me. So
Yeah. I'm
just things like
Snapchatting
that.
this for the
Yeah.
fans.
And I'm the only one that he's really training. So like, I'm really getting that really, that one-on-one attention. We sitting down watching my opponents and we breaking it down and just a lot of new things. So my next fight, is gonna be a new me,
So
basically.
this is going to be your first fight with Rick, right? This will be
Yes,
your
correct.
the January 25th fight in, I think it's what'd you say, Jefferson City, Missouri?
Jefferson City. Jefferson City.
That's the capital of Missouri, Jeff
Yeah.
City. I'm a Missouri kid, man, so that's why I say that. Like I said, I was born and raised there. I was born in St. Joe, Missouri. I grew up in Osborne, Missouri. I was there till I was 28 years old before I moved down here to Florida, where I'm not. I've been here for about 13 years now, or over 10 years for sure. But also, listen, There's a lot of fights that happen right here in Orlando, right here next door to me too. So like you keep doing your thing, keep winning your fights. The Zone is here literally every month, over
Oh, it's not.
15 minutes
Yeah.
from my house, and there's a bunch of 154 pounders down here too. That I mean, they just had a
Hmm.
title fight. They had a top 10 WBA title fight right here for 154-pound division
Oh, it's not.
3 weeks ago. So there's a
Oh,
top 10 guy that just he right here in Orlando, Florida, and that's your division. So keep doing your thing for sure, man. I know the journey has definitely had some bumps in it, but I mean, you're not going to meet very many successful pro boxers that
yeah.
didn't have bumps and bruises along the way.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, think about it. Look at a guy like Devin Haney, who's a multiple time world champion. The guy's legit, but look what he's going through right now. I mean, he's got
Mm.
some bumps and bruises. He's taking it on the chin from the media, from everybody because of everything that's went on. But I mean, and look where
Yeah.
he's at. He's at a very high level,
Yeah.
but it doesn't matter where you're at. You're gonna go through that stuff. It's just
Hmm.
happen. So maybe that's just forging the fire that you're going through right now. That's forging you
Hmm.
what you're doing. And I mean, I wish the best for you, brother. And I appreciate you coming on the podcast. Is there anything certain that you're working on right now for this fight in a couple of weeks? Is there anything that just kind of like that you've never done before, or somebody that you've never
Uh,
sparred with before that you're trying to get through this one?
uh, we got a kid here. He's gonna be real big. His name Malachi Ross. I spar him, and I'll be sparring my guy Jake Robinson. Very strong puncher. And Malachi Ross is like number one, I think, in the United States in his weight division. He's like a 14-time national champion. So he's very good in that. Me just sparring him and like learning. I'm learning from him. He learning from me. And I feel like that's upping my game a lot, like as far as like IQ and everything like that. And I feel like me going into this fight is like it's gonna be like my most best performance. I really feel like that, and I feel like not only that, it's like me, but really honestly, like believing in myself, like my real natural ability, my real ability, like just reaching, like getting to my real ability.
Yeah.
This next
So
fight.
when you said this is something that you love boxing. This is kind of like your passion now. This is you
Yeah,
fell in
for
love with
sure.
the sport. So are you a fan as well? I mean, do you watch
Yeah, I
boxing
watch it all the
part
time,
time or what?
all the time, like all
So right
the
now,
fights. Like
who right now is your current kind of like guy that you're watching that you really really enjoy, that you really kind of like you look at his career like, I would love to have that career. Do you have that right now that you're
yeah,
watching
yeah,
anybody?
I like Bud. I like Crawford. I like Crawford. I like Keyshawn Davis. I like a lot of them guys, honestly. Uh, but really, like, but, Crawford.
That's your
Crawford
guy,
for
Crawford.
sure.
I mean, that's
Crawford,
that's
yeah,
obvious.
Crawford.
That's a hard one to argue because I mean the guy's he's done phenomenal, obviously, and good for him that he's getting
Yeah.
this Canelo fight. Crawford's the man, dude. And like I said, he's a good dude too. That's what I like about it. Me and Crawford, we're friends. We text all the time. He's coming back on the podcast again before the Canelo fight. He's already
Hmm.
agreed to it. So he's going to be doing what you're doing right now. And
Hmm.
hopefully he's actually going to come into Orlando live. So you know what? If you ever get a big fight here in Orlando, I want you to come to my gym, do the
Okay.
podcast here. We'll do it in the boxing ring. It'll be awesome.
Hmm.
Um, but again, I appreciate this. You coming on here again. Deshawn, and I know that you have a fight in a couple of weeks. You got to be locked in. Are you cutting weight? How's that feeling?
My weight's actually good. I'm 167 right now, so I got to fight at 160. We don't fight till next week, so everything doing well. I'm staying mentally strong. Just staying out the way, staying out the BS. And really just locking in for real.
Well, so I've been following you on your Facebook a little bit too.
Yeah.
You can't be locking in gambling all the time. So get
Yeah.
off of that stuff. Get off them parlays. Them parlays ain't gonna give you a world championship. Get
Yeah.
your butt
Yeah.
off of those and
Yeah.
stop messing with that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm done it too. I'm
That's a
done for real.
distraction.
Yeah, for sure. Especially when you lose.
Well, almost always when you lose. And listen, there's a reason why Vegas exists.
Hmm.
Okay, you're not going to win every time, and there's a reason why they
Definitely
exist.
true.
Okay,
Definitely
you're just
true.
not. So if you ever try to go into that thinking that you're going to win all the time, you're going to make all this kind of money, blah blah blah, you might make it for a second. It's coming
Yeah.
back, man. There's a
Yeah.
reason why those apps exist. There's a reason why betting sites exist. There's a reason why all those guys that own the betting sites are multi-billionaires. All right.
Yeah.
Know that. Stop giving away your hard earned money because I know that
Yeah.
boxing is tough. I know it doesn't pay a lot early on. So
Yeah,
stop
for
giving
sure.
them your money. Stop giving them your money.
That's true.
All right.
That's true. Yeah.
Think about
Yeah.
how hard it was to earn any penny that you bet, bro. Stop it.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
can do it to have some fun and you have, because listen, I do picks on here all the time. So on the podcast, we always
Mm-hmm.
talk about, because in Florida, it's legal to bet. There's a Hard Rock app here. You're actually legal to bet on the app in the state of Florida. So you can bet here. So we do it all the time. We mess around, we play with it. I talk about it. But when it comes to problem, that's not good. If you can do it to have a little bit of fun, that's fine on the side. But when you start relying on it as a form of income, it's not good.
Yeah, for sure.
Or it's a
Yeah.
distraction from your boxing career.
Yeah.
You're 18-1 professional boxer. You
Yeah.
got bigger fish to fry
You're definitely right about that.
than losing a couple $1,000s here and there, because that shit adds up.
Yeah, definitely do.
All
You
right.
ain't lying about that.
Get off that stuff. Start
Mm-hmm.
focusing more. So I gotta throw this out there because I ask a lot of people this question too. Because obviously the guy's in the headlines all the time. Jake
Mm-hmm.
Paul. What's your take on Jake Paul?
I feel like he a smart businessman. Like he already got money, but you can never get enough of money. And I feel like, he like the attention and feeling, he just really doing his thing. And all props to him. He getting all his fans watching boxing, I guess, whenever he fight. And when a real boxer fight on the undercard, they get to watch the people on the undercard get their name blown up. So, he's showing the love to the boxer. So salute to him.
Let me ask you about his last fight, his Mike Tyson fight. What did you think about that? How do you feel about that?
I I knew he was gonna win. I won money on it. I mean, it was
On
obvious he
Jake
was gonna
Paul?
win. Yeah, I knew he was gonna
I agreed. I try to tell everybody their emotions got involved,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I same thing. I bet on Jake Paul. I
Mm-hmm.
wanted Mike Tyson to win. I was rooting for Mike Tyson,
Same
but
here. Same
it is
here.
what it is. So you know what's really cool though, that most people do, and I have to tell this about Jake Paul because he does a lot of fights right here at the Crib Royale in Orlando, Florida. He actually fought here last year too,
Hmm.
and it's
Yeah, I
15
remember
minutes
that.
from my house, so I go all the time. I'm front row table. I've seen Jorge Carlos, who
Mm.
is one of the brothers. I seen him fight here live. I was ringside,
Hmm.
so I go to the fights all the time there. But what people don't see is that I was just at the last fights in December. It was the WBA convention, and it was big time. Felix Trinidad was there, Amanda Serrano was there. They were all there. Jake Paul was his most valuable prospect, so he was ringside. But what people don't see is, and I was there at 6:30. The fight started like at 6, and I got there like 6:30. At
Hmm.
6:30, Jake Paul was ringside watching those fights, bro. At
Mm.
6:30, and the TV didn't even come on till like 9:30.
Mm.
He was ringside, literally right there watching those fights. And that's what people don't see, that because they don't see him, because they only see him when the TV comes on, right? But
Yeah.
I tell everyone, I'm like, dude, this guy's actually a boxing fan. He was there before the TV, before the cameras even came on. He was watching these fights. He was
Mm.
actually recording, screaming, like shouting out instructions to guys that weren't even signed with him, but he was watching their fights and he was intrigued. So I think that there's a lot of good about Jake Paul. There's some bad, obviously, too, but I think there's a lot of good about him, too. He is a boxing fan. I don't think he is a real, legit, possible world champion. No, I don't think that. I don't. I think he takes the sport serious. I do. I think he trains his butt off. I think he's a big fan. I think he's added to the game. He does fights here. Literally, I think they're our most valuable prospects, like 10 or 11. They've done like 10 or
Mm.
11 shows here, man, like right here in Orlando. So he's helping boxing. Amanda Serrano has made more than any woman boxer because of Jake Paul. He signed her to
Mm.
a big contract. He's doing all of that. So it's not a bad thing. But I just had to get your take by it. I know that there's a lot of negative about him, and it's fine. He's self-inflicted some of that too, for sure. But I just had to get another boxer's take, because I always have him on, and I always have to ask somebody a little bit about Jake Paul, because he is a good businessman. You're not wrong,
Yeah.
right? He's
Yeah.
making he made $40 million for the Mike Tyson fight. Tell me,
Crazy.
tell me he's not a smart businessman.
Smart as hell.
Well, would you do what he's doing for $40 million?
Of course. Heck
Exactly.
yeah. Everybody would. There's boxers that got what man. They ain't never seen that. Not
40
even close.
bills, 40 mil, man.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
It is, man. So again, I appreciate you coming on here. I know that we get to talk much about your fight on ESPN because mainly I want you to get by this next weekend, January 25th in Jeff City,
Hmm.
Missouri. Noah Kid. Take care of business, win that fight.
For
We'll have you
sure.
back on the podcast. You can talk about your fight on ESPN, but get through this one, man. Don't look ahead
For,
of it because this
for
is very
sure.
important, right? You know this. Stay locked in. Again, I
Hmm.
appreciate you coming on here. Is there anything you want to leave anybody with here?
Nah, just stay on the lookout. This year, I really feel like it's my year. So yeah, just be on the lookout for me.
Deshawn Prather. We're gonna put your info, your Facebook info on here. If you're on Instagram as well, we'll put your little tag down here too. But we'll try to get this posted the next couple of days. But man, I appreciate
Okay.
you coming on the podcast, and we'll definitely be talking to you soon again. Hopefully, you stay on that winning streak. We'll have you on here a lot more, man.
Heck yeah, thank you for having me, man. Appreciate that.